Welcome to the Gloam.
The following story is a first-hand account of an encounter with a Djinn by a US soldier in Iraq in 2003. But first, a little information about what a Djinn is or is believed to be. Djinn have strong cultural origins in the Middle East and are particularly associated with Islam. Many individual stories about Jinni are found in the Quran and the Sunnah. In general, it's said that the Djinn were spirits of fire and can take on any form they choose, animal or human, and can be of any size. It's said that some of their powers are the ability of manifestation and transformation. They have a human-like form and can take the shape of animals, but only temporary, unless it is as their tribe's animal protector. For the ancient Semites, Djinn were spirits of vanished ancient peoples who acted during the night and disappeared with the first light of dawn. They can make themselves invisible or change shape into animals at will. These spirits are commonly believed to be responsible for diseases and for the manias of some lunatics. They can be both good and evil creatures. The evil ones are said to lead humans astray. According to legend, many of the Djinn race resent having to give up this world, which they still consider their home, to humans. They want their home back and will do whatever it takes. So, as previously mentioned, the following is a first-hand account of an encounter with a Djinn by a US Army infantryman during the invasion of Iraq in 2003. We pushed into Baghdad and then took an airfield just north of the city. Then we headed north up Highway 1. The majority of my unit stayed in Tikrit, Saddam's hometown. My company kept going north with 366 armour to a huge enemy ammo depot near Baiji. We began operating around that area and then shortly moved to nearby K2 airfield and set up a more permanent forward operating base, or FOB. K2 airfield had a residential area that had been abandoned near the end of the runway. It was on-post housing for the Iraqi Air Force personnel that ran the base, but they had left way before our arrival. What was strange is that it seemed abandoned before the invasion. There were pots and pans in the sink, there were clothes on the line, there was lots of dust all over everything. My unit moved into the end of the airfield, into some bombed-out warehouses. The military police company moved into the biggest houses in the abandoned housing area. We started to call the ghost town. The MPs that took up residence in the ghost town moved out after about a week. I asked one of the very tired-looking MPs why, as everyone was jealous that they lived in actual homes, albeit abandoned, shabby ones, instead of bombed-out warehouses, and I was curious about their speedy move. He said that they couldn't sleep. Doors would open and shut all night. They heard footsteps running up and down the halls at night, and then finally they began to see children's faces looking in at them through the windows. The US Army does not function with consideration to ghosts, and for them to get their chain of command to move their whole company out of the ghost town, there must have been some tangible events that affected their operational readiness. Their move meant that now our residence was the new perimeter of our FOB closest to the ghost town, so we took up the nighttime security every night around our warehouse. We would each do an hour shift, and we had a watch going all night long. We had thermal sights and night vision, and we would sit out there scanning the desert for enemy activity. During our watch, we could hear children laughing and playing all night long. It sounded like a playground was active in the ghost town, but we verified with our thermal sights. It was empty. We often had pebbles thrown at us. We would sit out there alone, or in pairs, and listen to their laughter or getting hit by rocks. Nothing big, but they would bounce off your face, your helmet, your vest. The whole time scanning with thermals and night vision, nobody there, listening to the laughter. This happened night after night. We all talked about it with each other. Nobody was happy about it, but we sucked it up. In 2004, we had a change of command, and upon hearing about the situation, a new commanding officer said, "There is no supernatural activity in this ghost town, only enemy activity." This is partially true, because we were being attacked with sniper fire and RPGs from that direction multiple times. His decision was to set up a nightly patrol, set up ambushes into the ghost town every night. We were already busy looking for WMDs during the day, raiding Saddam's Baathists during the night. We'd be doing 18 to 36 hour patrols, QRF, convoy security, more patrols, show of force, ambushes, the works. And now this. So it began. My squad had done the new patrol a few times, and it always seemed extra dark when walking through the ghost town. There was an old British fort left over from their colonial days, with firing ports and towers. Streets with sidewalks, pretty decent houses, all empty. While on patrol, we could still hear the kids playing, but it seemed just as faint as when we were on perimeter guard. We would get on a roof, lay there in ambush and just listen to the wind, the kids, and that's it. One night we were patrolling through the ghost town in a modified bed formation. Abruptly one of our soldiers said,
What the fuck?
He pointed his weapon to the middle of our formation, then dropped his weapon and ran. He ran alone in the dark, unarmed, in the middle of a combat zone, away from everyone. Those of us that looked where he pointed saw it. Those of us that looked at the fleeing soldier heard it. Walking with us was a solid shadow, roughly the shape of a person, tall, with really long arms, skinny legs, and a very narrow torso. It turned its head back and forth, as if surprised to be discovered. It bent down, and then it leaped. It landed in a crouch on top of a nearby chain-link fence, still facing us, moving its head to look at us. Its eyes then quickly flashed red, and then it jumped backwards off the fence and disappeared into the night. We caught up with the soldier. Our squad leader was super pissed. He got roughed up a bit, as he'd absolutely lost it, screaming and crying. This soldier was solid. I'd personally seen him shoot an enemy at close range. We'd all been through a lot, and we were confident and competent. But what we saw that night was not the scariest thing we'd been through that deployment. Engaging the enemy on the regular was. But the enemy made sense. This creature didn't. It was by far the most disturbing thing I've ever witnessed, as it seemed to have a purpose keeping pace with us. From that point on, whenever it was our turn to patrol Ghost Town, our squad leader would lead us just to the edge, and we would wait in ambush. I'm sure we all still appreciate that to this day. So, that brings a whole new meaning to Horrors of War. Thank you for listening.